Hey moms, it's Katie and Beth here with More Than a Mom. And Beth, I can't even believe we're already at episode 18.
I know. It's crazy how fast this has gone by, and I am so excited we've been able to offer this content to our moms.
I am super excited too, and especially for this guest for this particular show for episode 18. For those of you who do not know, we are Katie and Beth. We are the facilitators of More Than a Mom, but this is not our show. This is really a show for our audience. This is really a show for the moms that follow us, the moms that need help, the moms that need support on a consistent basis. Would you say, Beth?
Absolutely.
So today we're going to talk about parenting, and I'm pretty excited because it's kind of a two-part deal. And we have Kami Kerby on with us. Say hello, Kami.
Hello, friends. More Than Mom friends. I love that. I love that. More Than a Mom. That's
right?
Awesome.
Friends of More Than a Mom. That's cute too.
I love that.
I'm totally stealing that. Kami, tell us just a little bit about what you do and why you're here with us today.
Well, I love that I'm talking to an audience of moms, and I love that the stress is that we're more than moms, because that's what we are. But anyone that's a mom knows the minute they get pregnant or they are starting the adoption process, people are relentless with unsolicited advice of how to do things.
Totally.
But ironically, when things get hard, what's the first phrase people say? Well, parenting doesn't, these kids don't come with a manual, right? We've all heard that cliche phrase. So, on one hand, people are so excited to give unsolicited advice to us moms. And on the other hand, it's like almost that helplessness of, kids don't come with a manual. What am I supposed to do? And I was at that point, and I'm sure that, I don't know if either of you have had strong-willed kids and just been at that point where,
oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what to do. I'm sure our listeners have, if they're listening to this podcast, chances are they've also been moms where they just like, I have no idea what to do, where to go, how to handle this situation. And I was in that similar position with my two oldest. They're 11 months apart.
Oh, wow.
And they were, 2 and 2, because, almost 2 and almost 3. And I just was beside myself. My husband had just finished his master's degree program and was working crazy hours. I had made the decision to be an at-home mom at the time. My background was in early childhood education, and I was like, I'm going to be their preschool teacher. I know how to do this better than, because that was my background. So I took that plunge. That was brave. It was an act of bravery. And also, how many viewers out there can tell you how expensive it is for childcare for, toddlers, 2 toddlers.
Yeah.
It's really, as moms, we can empathize in that struggle. So there was that struggle for me too of, do I go to work and continue doing what I do and throw that money to childcare, or do there's that struggle.
Is it worth it, basically?
So real for so many of our viewers. But then as an at-home mom, I was faced with so many more struggles that I wasn't prepared for. Even with an early childhood background, early childhood education background, I just wasn't prepared for all the complexities of what that meant to be with these two, to be responsible for 2 humans. And I felt a sense of hopelessness. And I went to a Love and Logic class, and I gained skills in that class that did a 180 in my life and in my children's life. And I knew the passion I had about motherhood and about children. I knew children. And I knew that someday I wanted to share the things I had learned with other women. And that's what I do now, is I work with families to create action plans. Because I had all kinds of theory before about, I could tell you why a child was doing something and, all the theories behind their behavior, but I still had no action plan, words to say, what to do. And Love and Logic gave me that. And I love that. One thing I want with both you and Beth and our listeners is, nobody knows their child better than you. Mm-hmm. Their child. You know your child better than anyone, and you are capable of being that superhero that you want to be, the parent that they need, and nobody can do that better than you. And I love empowering parents with the skills and tools to help them realize that dream and that potential that they have is the most powerful person in their child's life.
I love that. So explain to our audience a little bit about what Love and Logic is, because I'm seeing, we're all on social media a bunch. In fact, my phone tells me now how much I am on social media, which is really scary. But we're seeing all these posts day in and day out. I'm sure you ladies see them too, of moms that are just kind of at their wits' end, or, you know, kid pulled this on them and they totally don't know how to react to that or how to deal with that. And I'm constantly seeing comments on these posts, go to a Love and Logic class, do it the Love and Logic way. What does that mean?
Oh, I love that. That makes my heart so happy. Anytime I see do it the Love and Logic way. So Love and Logic for me is the perfect balance between love, you know, because kids need love. They need lots and lots of love and empathy, but they also need boundaries. If you do it all love, if you're all love and mush and, you know, they need boundaries. They need a schedule, they need a routine, and they need parents who can back up my yes means yes and my no means no. Because when we get frustrated, or when I get frustrated, and hopefully you guys can relate, when I get frustrated and I'm in my brainstem and that fight or flight kicks in and I don't know what to do, I start breathing out threats or bribes or promises that I could never keep in a million years. Like, if you don't stop that, you're grounded for life. Well,
okay then.
That's not very effective, and kids know it. Kids have an uncanny sixth sense to know when we yell out threats that we can't ever enforce, right? So what Love and Logic does is it gives you a way to set boundaries in a loving and empathetic way. And we talk a lot about Cop A and Cop B, and I think I've told you this story before, Katie, on another episode, but or not podcast episode, but a video that we did.
Yes.
Cop A is the cop that pulls you over. Let's say you're going to work. A cop pulls you over and tells you what an idiot you are, an awful person you are, throws you the ticket, and then leaves. What are you going to go to work and say to your coworkers?
Right. You're not going to say nice things.
It's going to be all about what an awful jerk this cop was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cop B pulls you over and, oh man, I'm so sorry. You know, I got to pull you over. You were going 15 above the speed limit. I'm going to have to write you a ticket, but you have some options. And here, you know, you could go to traffic school if you haven't been there in how many years, 2 years or whatever it is. You know, you could go and contest it. You could just pay the bill at this. You know, I definitely understand being in a hurry. I hope your day gets better. As he hands you or she hands you the ticket, what are you going to say to the cop?
Thank you.
Thank you. And you just thank the officer for your ticket.
Right.
But, and now you go to work. What's your story?
It's a little bit different. It's, oh, I'm such a bum. I was speeding.
It
becomes had to stop me.
For me, I know I've experienced both. And for me, it's, oh crap, what am I going to do? How am I going to tell my husband about this? Can I go to traffic school? I'm so busy worried about how I'm going to solve my problem. My energy is not directed at the cop anymore. It's directed at how to solve my problem. And at the end of the day, as parents, that's what we want to do and be for our kids. We want to be the kind of parent that at the end of the day, they are solving the problems they've created, that they are learning from the mistakes that they've made instead of turning in and blaming the authority figure. With Cop A, it was like, he was such a jerk. I can't believe it. There was somebody in front of me that was going 20 miles over, and then he pulls me over and I was barely going 10 over. It all becomes about excuses and blaming other people and entitlement. And we see plenty of that. And so Love and Logic gives us the skills to be Cop B. Letting the behavior do the teaching, letting the child's consequence do the teaching, and lovingly being the guide on the side that helps navigate them through that learning process, which is beautiful to me.
That's an amazing analogy, and it really made it clear for me. So I appreciate how you put that there. What are some key things to remember when you're wanting to be more mindful in practicing this parenting style? What can you tell our audience? What can they use right now?
The first thing that we always talk to parents about is that component of empathy. And when we talk about this is a parenting style, sometimes I learn best by comparing it to what it's not. So in Love and Logic, we talk about 3 parenting styles. The first one is the drill sergeant parent, the 1950s parent. Like most of us were parented by, most of us. Maybe not some of us. Some of us were. So probably half of us were parented by a cop or a drill sergeant parent, which is they're barking off orders. Yep. My dad was notorious for do as I say, not as I do.
Oh, yes.
I'm the parent and I said so, and that's why, but at the end of the day, what does a drill sergeant parent communicate to their child?
It's just, it's negative. It's not a connection.
Yeah, it's about fear. It really is. It's about, I am the adult and you should do what I say because I said so, and I'm in charge of you and you will listen to me. It's more about punitive, scaring a child into submission. What is the problem with that in our day and age? Kids don't modify their behavior. Usually they just become more sneaky.
Right. And there's lots of ways they can do so this day and age.
Yeah, where they're not worried about, oh, how is my decision going to affect me? They're going to think, they're more concentrated on how can I avoid getting caught?
Yep.
And so a lot of drill sergeant parents drive their kids to, how can I avoid the consequence, or how can I avoid being caught, or who can I blame it on? Helicopter parents actually yield very similar results. And that's the other kind of parenting style that we say we don't want to be that. Helicopters parents are always swooping and hovering and saving their kids with, oh no, you have a science project, it's due tomorrow, I better start to get to work on this, and it becomes mom or dad's science project. They're always saving them.
Right.
It communicates to a kid, you're not good enough. I don't believe you can do it on your own, which is not what we want to communicate. I mean, look at the college admission scandals. At the end of the day, who did those parents rob more than anyone? Their own kid. Right. They I don't believe in you. I'm going to take your future into my hands because you're not good enough to do this on your own, your way. You're going to do it my way. It becomes about pride and the parent, and what Love and Logic is, to get to your question, it is a consultant. We call it the consultant parent. So if you think about a consultant, what is their job? Why do you bring a consultant into a business? It's to create a culture. It's to create a brand. It's to create unity. It's to create something that can be bigger than the business itself. You bring a consultant in to really help guide you and teach you skills that you can then, once they leave, go forth and be super successful. If you have to keep having a consultant back and you never can springboard off, you haven't really had money well spent on a consultant. Right. You pay big bucks to have someone come in so you can, have wings to fly. And that's what we do is we come in and we give them tools like, for example, one tool that we have that we teach is just that love and empathy. When a kid tries to hook you with an argument like, but mom, why can't I play Xbox or whatever it is? Mom, why can't I do that? Everybody else gets to do it. Instead of diving into explaining yourself and explaining your rules, you just take a deep breath, step back, and you go, oh, man, it stinks to feel that way. Nice try. And you walk away because you recognize the kid's just trying to hook you into arguing. And then you start explaining, you've said, I am willing to engage with a 3-year-old. I'm willing to engage with however old they are.
Right.
And you give them a chance to win. Whereas if you cut them off and say, oh man, empathy, I totally get feeling that way. Nice try. And you walk away, it's like, oh, wait a minute, what just happened? She's not mad. She's not angry. She's not yelling. She's not even engaging. And, they don't, a lot of times when you start using those, what we call them one-liners, we talk about stop, take a deep breath, drop your one-liner, and roll out of the situation. So just stop, drop, and roll. That is a skill that we give parents right away in our introductions to help them disengage from arguing with their kids. I think that, what is the statistic? 75% of all arguments between an adult and a child, guess who initiates them?
The adult?
Yes.
Yeah, I bet.
And so a lot of times we initiate them through this engagement where a kid issues a complaint and then we start arguing with them about this complaint. When in reality, kids just want to be heard, validated, and then have the boundary set so they can know that they're safe.
It makes a lot of sense. You really opened my eyes about the whole helicopter parent thing. Not to pull you back there. I've followed everything you've said thus far, but I'm stuck there. Because really, that's not the helicopter parent's intention by any means, is to give their child the feeling that they're not good enough. I don't feel like they're even in that atmosphere at all. Yet what they're training their child to do is the exact opposite of their tension. Am I right? Like, I'm blown away by this.
Absolutely. And I'm totally glad you picked up on that. That is a nugget for me. Because if I'm totally honest, I pendulum between drill sergeant and helicopter. Like, I want the best for my kid. And I think most people do. Like, it's not, it's not an all or nothing. You're not always a consultant. You're not always a drill sergeant. But when I learned, wow, what am I really communicating to my kid? Let's say I go take my kid their lunch every single day. What am I robbing my kid from? A really neat story. This is like one of my favorite Love and Logic stories. We were teaching a class for Success by Six, and through an Arizona State funded program, and a husband and wife, she was like 9 months pregnant, about to pop, came in. And I'm like, oh, cool. How many kids do you have? It looks like, you're expecting. And she said, oh, this is our first. And I'm all, oh, bless you. You're already here. They're not even here yet. I'm like, you are like my favorite person to work with right now. Just so farsighted, And she said, well, I'm only here because I nannied for a family who, on my first day on the job, the mom got a phone call, and she had it on speakerphone. And I was blown away by this phone call with her child. And her child said, hey, Mom, I know that your time is really valuable. And I really value that. I forgot my cello, though, or whatever it was. She forgot something. I forgot my cello, and I really need it. There's a performance coming up. If you bring it to me, I know that it's going to interrupt your day. Is there anything I could do for you to make up for the time it took you to bring it to me? And she's like, I was so surprised at this exchange that a teenager was talking to their mom with such respect and understanding boundaries that I was like, how on earth did they parent this child to have that sense of awareness, and how do I do that? And so the mom's like, yeah, I can think of a few things that you can do. I was going to clean the refrigerator, and I had a few other things I need to get done. If you'll be willing to do those when you get home, I'd be glad to bring you I don't remember. I'm saying cello, but I don't remember what it was in the story. So we'll go with cello. I'll bring you down your cello to school. And she's like, I was so impressed by that. And then as I nannied for them, it was continual interactions like that of respect, of boundaries, and human kindness to each other that I wanted to parent in such a way. And so I think as helicopter parents, what would a helicopter parent's reaction be?
I'll be right down.
I'll be right down. Okay, but then there's that passive aggressiveness. How many times do I have to tell you? And how many times have you forgotten your cello this year? And everything we say after that, we're silent. We're, degrading our child, trying to motivate them to be better. But what's going to motivate them to be better?
It's positive, more positive.
Yeah, and also boundaries. So there's got to be that positive, but like, how did this mom get that child to that point? My guess is the child said, the mom, one time that something was forgotten, said, oh, this is such a bummer, you're going to have to, or maybe she just brought it down. I'll give you a freebie this once, but this might have a consequence. And when the child got home, she probably lovingly said, hey, I was happy to bring you your cello down, but I didn't get the laundry folded. So I'm going to need your help folding the laundry.
Right.
And then if the child resisted, the parent, to help them keep the focus on the child instead of our anger and what a jerk we are. If the child became resistant, I don't care, Mom, that's so stupid. I'm not folding that laundry for you. You're my mom. That's your job. Oh, this is so sad. Looks like you need a little bit of bedroom time. Feel free to come out when you're ready to be respectful to me. Those are the kind of words and things that we teach in Love and Logic, where you're respecting the child. You're saying, yeah, feel free to throw that fit in your room or be disrespectful in your room where I don't have to listen to it. Feel free to talk to me when you're ready to be respectful. You're allowing the child their feelings. You're being empathetic to them, but you're also setting up a firm boundary as I'm happy to talk to you as soon as I hear respect. And so the combination of the two, you can't have that result of a responsible, loving child without having both boundaries and love and empathy.
Totally agree. What a great story. And what a cool person to meet. I mean, geez, if I had this before I had a baby, I'm not hitting the ground.
Right?
Right, Beth? Right? That's
totally.
a couple, 3 of them over there. What are
Yeah.
some resources that our listeners can plug into to learn more, Kami?
Well, my husband and I do this together. We're a team, and that's another thing I love. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Love and Logic, it's a program that's been around for like 40 plus years. It started in Colorado with a principal and a psychiatrist, Foster Climb and Jim Fay, and now his son, Charles Fay, actually helps. He's the president of Love and Logic. He helps run the company. He's also I'm so sorry. I was doing so good and I just totally, everything was gone. But yeah, he was a school counselor. He's a psychologist. He's Dr. Fay, so he has his doctorate in psychology. But they have this amazing curriculum that they go around the nation and teach. And people like me are what they call independent facilitators. So my husband and I are licensed to teach, we bought the licensing to teach all of their curricula. So they have an early childhood one. So Love and Logic, Parenting Made Easy from Birth to 6. They have Parenting the Love and Logic Way, which is an all ages curriculum. They have the 9 essential skills of the Love and Logic classroom. So we work with teachers as well. And then a new curriculum that we just got that I'm so excited about is Love and Logic for kids with traumatic pasts. So it deals with, there's a certain way that those skills need to be used with people that don't have, that might have trust issues, that might, there's basic, the bonding and connecting and attachment isn't there. So some of those skills that we use in Love and Logic can only be put in place when there's a firm foundation of bonding, connecting, and respect, and that relationship of love. When there's not that is the paramount foundation of Love and Logic. If there is not the love and bonding and respect and trust, none of the skills will work.
Totally get it. Beth, what's your take on this? Have you dove into this at all? Do you have any experience with this? Talk to me.
So I don't personally have any experience. I haven't taken any courses, but I know several parents that I'm friends with who've taken Love and Logic courses. And again, like the way they interact with their kids just blows my mind. Mm-hmm. So it's something that I wanted to learn more about, and I'd seen so many posts on Facebook. I'm super glad we decided on this topic because I'm seriously mind blown with the information Kami's shared. I'm super excited to show this to my husband later so that he can get on board and we can move forward in parenting this way because I think it's amazing.
Totally agree with you. So Kami, how can Beth connect with you? If she wants to just get off and do this right now.
Go to Instagram. I just started our Instagram page. So it's fresh in its conception. Instagram, we're parenting.rocks. So ROCKS rocks, parenting.rocks. So that's our handle for Instagram. On Facebook, and I have highlights. So on my highlights, you can go through my highlights and get some little nuggets of wisdom about how to share control through choices, how to connect and bond through there's a fun little game that I talk about. So anyways, I'm always adding to that, and I'm so excited for the content that's going to come on there. We have a Facebook page. It's Kami, Kami, and Larry Kerby, and that's Kerby. So that's our Facebook. It's just our page for my husband and I, and we get on there. He does lots of Facebook Lives. He gives lots of nuggets. It's really fun.
He does.
I love that there's 2 points of view because sometimes, people really resonate with hearing it from the dad. Mm-hmm. And that's really powerful too. I know a lot of, we get a lot of dads in our classes, which I love to see because lots of times moms are seeking this. Not so true of dads.
Right.
sorry to the dad listeners out there. Hopefully there's a few of you, but some of you have to play mom and dad, and that's hard. And so it can be good to hear perspectives from both.
Totally agree. And I love that you work with your hubby on it. I work with my hubby too. And there's just lots of awesome stuff wrapped up in that. Well, thank you so much, Kami Kerby. I am so glad that we got to have you on today. And I'm excited too, because there's a part 2 to this. So episode 19 is going to be part 2 with Kami Kerby, Love and Logic. So keep your eyes peeled and your ears open, listeners, because we will be dropping that shortly after episode 1 comes out, or episode 18, part 1. My gosh, too many numbers over here. Anyways, moms, we hope that you enjoyed the show today. And if you want to write into us anonymously, you absolutely can do so. Follow us, comment, and private message us on any of the platforms that you're listening listening to this show on, and we will be happy to respond to you as quickly as possible and get your question on the air. Yes, Beth?
Yeah.
All right, ladies, until next time. Bye-bye.